Well, hi everyone. It's Tuesday, and we're going to jump right back in. Pastor Tom Atkins was sharing his story about his first wife and her story of battling breast cancer. And we kind of left off, Tom, where you didn't know if the insurance cover was going to cover it or not, and I think you were implying that they told you that they weren't going to cover it. Is
Yes,
that accurate?
she needed a stem cell transplant at the City of Hope, and we got a letter saying they would not cover it and that it was considered experimental.
Okay.
And so I talked to the City of Hope, and we decided to go ahead and we would pay for it. And it would have been a couple of $100,000, which was a lot,
Oh,
but I felt we had to do it.
yeah.
And we I talked to the City of Hope, and they suggested, what do you call this attorney? And so, and talked to him about this because he's been involved with these issues. And so I did, and he was two Jewish attorneys, and we got to share Jesus with him because we were confident that she was going to be healed. And so he started preparing things. And we filed an appeal with the insurance company. And I talked to Tom Holliday about it.
Of
And
Saddleback.
yeah, and he says, Tom, he said, pray not just that they would change their mind for Yannick, pray that they would change their policy for everyone. And so we filed for an appeal. We had it scheduled, and the morning we were getting up, getting dressed, ready to drive up to Thousand Oaks, we get a call from Cigna. We've reversed our position and we will pay for the stem cell transplant. And they said, not only that, we've changed our policy so no one else will have to go through this. That's exactly what we were praying for.
Don't you think that sometimes the Lord allows us to go through these things and something like that, when you see that because you guys did that, other people also were blessed by that same, probably to this day, but certainly for a period of time. And so I think it is the hand of God, and then you allowed it. But Tom, can jump ahead a little, or we gotta
So
go on.
going behind the appendix story that I told yesterday, here's the second miracle. So we were sure she was going to be healed. So she had it
Yeah.
and she was doing fine for several months, but then the cancer returned.
Oh,
And at that point, there was nothing much they could do. But we were still confident because we saw God's hand and we believed still. And, and people would say, what do the doctors say? And our response was, we don't care what the doctors say. God is in control. We're trusting God.
yeah.
And it got worse and worse. And one day I had her in there. She and her mom and I went to the oncologist, and he told her there's nothing they could do. And he took me out and told me she had about 2 weeks. And so I composed myself and went down the hall, and um, so I could be positive and encouraging. And later she asked me what the doctor said, and I said, we've always trusted Jesus. We're not worrying about what the doctor says. And she looked at me and says, you're right. Well, about a week and a half later, I was putting a drop of morphine under her tongue, and I had her in my arms. And she opened her eyes and smiled. She'd been in a coma at home for 6 days or so. And she opened her eyes, smiled like she just saw something breathtaking. and that was her last breath.
Wow.
And the minute that happened, I heard God say as clear as a bell, "You've been praying for healing. I have healed her. This is my ultimate healing." He did a miracle. He did heal her. Knowing that meant a lot. It
Yeah,
was still hard. It was a journey of grief.
of course.
Our daughters were there at home when that happened, and her mom and dad and three of her sisters were there. But it was just an amazing gift from God to give us the focus
Yes,
we needed to get through.
you were given an insight into heaven through her that day.
And,
Don't you
and
believe that she was seeing?
yes, she saw Jesus.
Absolutely.
I know it.
I know
And
it.
after that, how could I do anything with my life but serve him?
Yeah.
Nothing else.
That is the ultimate healing that we all look forward to.
Yeah.
I have many, many friends, Tom, and many of those are your friends too, but who they're clinging on to that, that the day is coming where they will be healed and they will see Jesus.
Yeah.
We know God can heal. You were telling me about another experience you had where you went to the hospital to pray for a sheriff, I think, or something.
Well, I was leading a Bible study with a very good friend who was deputy police chief at Irvine. And one of his officers, during a surgery, he got paralyzed down one side of his body. So Dave said, "Let's go pray for him." And we did. In the middle of the prayer, and his mom was there, his wife was there. In the middle of the prayer, he said, "Pastor, I can move my arm." God healed him right there in the middle of that prayer. And so we looked at he and his family and said, "God just gave you a gift. And it's a gift from God to you. It has nothing to do with us. It
Yeah.
has nothing to do with our church. We're going to leave you and let you celebrate." And guess what? We would see him at church every week after that.
I wanted you to get that story in on this broadcast because that shows that God can heal immediately on the spot. But in the case of Unique, it was the the healing that was chosen was the ultimate healing.
The Lord giveth, the Lord taketh away. Blessed is the name of the Lord. We can't understand his ways, but we know his ways are perfect.
And when we've lived with him for these years, you get to see him in action. And that's kind of been the theme of these few weeks we've been doing. Because when you see, well, I always use the example, if you see the leaves moving, there's a wind. If you see things happening, there's a God that are unexplainable. And he does
Yeah.
it. And he did it. And he did it for you and your family. And I'm thrilled that you and she and then the kids got to be with her
Yeah.
when she transitioned to her new home.
And whatever God does, he does out of love. We may not understand it, but
Yeah.
it's always true.
Friends, this type of love is available to you also. And I pray that you'll consider, even today, asking Jesus to be in your life, and you can have experiences like Tom and I have had. God bless. Thank you for watching today, and we'll see you tomorrow.